Hey guys, it's Kaylee. I am coming on with a highly requested video. I get asked to do a recap of the year before, and honestly, this is probably the video that I think I want to do the most, but I also don't want to do the most. In a way, I really love reflecting back just for my own personal use, my business, as to, what's going on, what changes I made, how they impacted sales and also productivity, and just really what's going on in my own life. And it's really nice to have, I guess, a marker and reflect on that and share that with you guys. And so that's why I've always wanted to do videos like this. On the other hand, I really dread making videos like this because I really do believe that comparison is the thief of joy. You guys have heard me say that in many videos. And I really just don't want someone to compare their numbers to mine and either be encouraged or discouraged in a certain way. Because everybody's business is different. We all have different time, different resources, different experiences. We all have different risk tolerances, and we all just have different desires. We all live in different places, and therefore our expenses are much different. All is to say that I am coming on, and obviously I'm making this video, but I just want you guys to remember while you're watching this that you really should focus on your own numbers. Figure out what works for you. Knowing somebody else's numbers on YouTube or on eBay or on Poshmark is never, ever going to help your business and your numbers. So figure out all of the numbers you need to know for your reselling business and make sure that they really work for you. So with that being said, let's dive into this 2023 recap. As I was reflecting, trying to think of some things I wanted to talk about during this recap, I really just started going down memory lane, I guess. And I thought, I'm just going to turn on the camera and just talk about it because a lot has happened in the last year, some of which I am super excited about, I'm super happy with. Other things were kind of a bummer and a letdown for me. So thinking back to the beginning of 2023, I started hiring more employees. At that point in time, I'd never really had more than 2 people working for me. Something I do in my business that definitely a lot of people don't do and even probably shouldn't do is reinvest a lot of my profits back into the business in order to grow it more quickly. So because I wanted to step away from the business more, and I'm never going to be fully out of reselling because if I'm teaching you guys, I just feel like that's the right thing to do, is to have myself immersed in it, know what I'm doing, know the changes on the platforms, and actually have my hands and have some skin in the game. So I'm never going to fully leave reselling, but I would like to carve out some more of my time and have more of it be structured towards YouTube. And that has always been a goal of mine ever since I started YouTube. In fact, when I first hired Nikki, who was my first W-2 employee, I told her when I hired her that the reason I was hiring her was because I wanted her to take over the tasks that I was doing so that I could just do YouTube. Obviously, fast forward a few years later, that is not what ended up happening, but my mind has never changed with that. And because there is such a great need for helping resellers in the community, the only way for me to be able to step away and be able to have more of an impact on YouTube, social media, is to gain my time back by hiring employees and have them take over the tasks that I am doing. So that's been my goal for a long time. And because of that, I have constantly reinvested a lot of the profits that I make back into the business in order to grow it to the level that you guys see now. Which normally, if I were giving somebody business advice, I would say you should definitely try to grow slowly, make sure you can pay your bills, and then have a little bit left over and just slowly eat away at it until you get to a point that you're super comfortable with stepping away. Unfortunately, that is not how my brain works, and I have a very high risk tolerance. That's just kind of how I'm wired. Plus, I'm also now starting to make income from YouTube. So there's kind of like a, I don't know, somewhat of a switch that's happening where as I step away from reselling, I'm able to put more time into YouTube. I'm also able to make more money with YouTube. And so right now I'm kind of stuck in that phase of trying to get over that hump. So because I have some income coming in on YouTube and some other sources, plus if you didn't know, I very part-time help one of my family's businesses. And so I have stuff I can fall back on. It's not a lot, but I am able to fall back on it if I need to. If times were tough and I had to give up all this, I'd be able to make it work. And so because I do have something to fall back on, I'm able to reinvest, like I said, a lot of things back into the business in order to grow it super quickly. And right now my key focus is hiring employees so that I can free up my time. So in the beginning of last year, that was my key focus. Like, I went really hard at it. And if you guys know me, once I dive into something, I'm like pedal to the metal, like full force. I try to put everything I can into it. You guys know that I really stepped back from a lot of the platforms because I didn't feel like I could put a full effort into some stuff. And that's just my personality. Once I decide to do something, I go at it full force. In the beginning of last year, I went crazy hiring employees and trying to really just have people take over tasks so that I could step away. I definitely did that way too quickly, and here's why. Because when you hire employees, they aren't able to keep up with the same speed and everything that you can, being somebody who's been in it for years. And so even though I did that and hoped that would be the outcome, it ended up not being the case. And I quickly learned that that method was not going to work or happen overnight, and this was something I was going to have to do slowly with time. So last year I started with 2 full-time employees. Nikki was one of them, and then we just referred to the other person as a new girl because she didn't really want to share any information on YouTube, which I totally respected. At some points last year, in the middle of last year, I ended up with the highest amount of employees I've ever had, which was a total of 4 employees. As I've mentioned in recent videos, that number has started to go down. And by the way, I know I had a lot of questions about this. It's all good with the employees that decided to leave. Everybody's on good terms. Some of them I even still go out and get lunch with. But for their own personal reasons, they exited. And honestly, I've had a really hard time finding a qualified candidate since then because of the lack of employees that I was used to, and also not being able to find candidates to replace them. We really had to get efficient really fast here to maintain everything that was going on. And with each person that left and each person that we hired, I just learned a lot more about my own business, what we were actually capable of doing within the time frames that we had and what we weren't capable of doing. And it kind of forced me to tweak a lot of things in order to maintain the amount of listings we were doing and the items that we were bringing in, which in a way ended up being a really good thing for me, although it did not feel that way at the time. But now I'm able to look at things from a new perspective and realize that I don't really need that many people to accomplish what I want. This kind of forced me to look at minimizing everything in the business and making it as simple as possible so that it took the least amount of time and there were less steps, which is something you guys know I love to do anyways. But honestly, I did not think there was much more we could do to be more efficient, and it turns out that we were wrong. Throughout this process, I also learned a lot about hiring, which is something I'm actually very familiar with and very skilled in, is anything HR related. I did it for a really long time before reselling at a more corporate managerial level, but it's a lot different hiring for a major company that, you know, employs hundreds of thousands of people to being a small business owner. There's just so many more differences when it comes to hiring. And I think last year really taught me a lot of those differences, and it kind of forced me to learn how to stay competitive in my market. And so I really learned a lot about what employees in my area really want when it comes to working for a small business. So I definitely learned some new things. Part of that whole journey and learning how to do more with less led me to wanting to increase my average sale price, which I've been sharing here on YouTube with you guys over the past, I don't even know how many months it is, maybe 6 months. And so we've slowly but surely been working on lowering cost of goods and also increasing average sale price. So when you only have so much time and so much manpower, then you have to look at other variables to tweak in order to make sales. And so that's what I did. I looked at sell-through rates, cost of goods, and being efficient. And as you guys know, I have been able to greatly increase my average sale price ever since I started that challenge. I wanted to hit $40 by the end of the year, which you guys will see when I dive into some of those numbers where I actually landed. But spoiler alert, I did not make $40 average sale price by the end of the year. So I'm still working at that, but I did get very close and I'm really happy with that. Increasing my average sale price has been a real eye-opener because it really taught me that for every 2 items that we were listing with, let's say a sale price of $25, I could instead replace it with one $50 item and only have to do the work of listing that one item. And it sounds so simple, but it kind of changed everything. Throughout the journey of trying to increase my average sell-through rate, I really learned how to do my own research and teach myself how to get everything that I need as a reseller when it comes to data and how to figure out if something's working on my own. I had to do the work and learn how to figure out where to find information, where to look for small tweaks and if they were working in terms of sales. And I stopped relying on learning from other resellers because of that. When that clicked, I already did a lot of research myself, most research myself actually, but just something clicked last year in all of this where I realized I didn't need anybody else's help in order to figure out how to increase my business and make changes. In fact, ideas from other resellers or people that I looked up to actually hindered my business because it was a very narrow way of thinking about things. So self-reliance is definitely key in any business, but especially with reselling because as I stated before, we all have so many different numbers and variables and they are not all the same. So you can't just model after somebody else and expect to have the same results. And that's really the core of what my channel is about, is not telling somebody this is what you should pick up, but teaching somebody this is how you figure out what you can pick up and what you should pick up for your business. Let's talk about a different subject. Last year we introduced wholesale, which has just exploded and just been really amazing for the business. So I don't even know, I think we started buying from Trash Pandas, which was my first wholesaler at the very beginning of last year. Man, ever since I posted a video talking about buying from other people, it was just right after that, everyone started reaching out to me. And every time I talk about wholesale, I get a bunch of people reach out to us to sell to us, whether that is death piles, they're becoming a wholesaler, maybe it's an inventory buyout. I would say most people are actually sourcing for us and then sending us the items. We have had a lot of buyouts as well. And that has just been incredible and opened up my eyes to how much inventory is really out there, what's available, even if people don't live in your state, because I've got news for you, none of my wholesalers live nearby me. I think there's one that we just met, but almost everyone's in a different state. And it's possible to learn how to make those connections and have items come to you that fit your business model. And that's just been absolutely mind-blowing to me. Not to mention, I wasn't really aware of a big market in wholesale for pre-owned items. And just from talking with the few wholesalers I did have, I learned that it was very new to the reseller community. And so I've been asking a ton of questions, doing interviews here on YouTube for you guys. And I can tell that, it's just such a new concept. And there's still a lot more buyers than wholesalers, but a lot of people are starting to want to get into wholesaling, which to me is just a different form of reselling, still flipping the item. And I just love that. I guess it's opened this whole new world to a lot of you, that you can just mostly source and flip the items quickly to other resellers. So that's just been really cool all around on every different level, to just see all of this take place, as well as start to bring in consistent inventory for our business. Something I think a lot of people forget is that we do not live in a city where good inventory is abundant. When we thrift ourselves, we actually drive at least an hour away to get to a good sourcing location, and then we spend all day there. And we were doing that 2 to 3 times a week. For those of you that say you don't have anything good around you and you can't find anything, I can totally relate to that, okay? I'm in the same position. So for me, wholesale has been an amazing blessing, because I'm not having to grind as much to drive really, really far multiple times a week and spend the entire day trying to get a ton of items to maintain the volume of stuff that we sell. At this point, I have so much wholesale coming in that I don't even think that I would need to source unless I just wanted to, which I do want to go out and source. And like I said before, I'm never going to completely step away from any aspect of reselling. A, because I enjoy it, and B, because I want to stay up to date as to what's going on so that I can help all of you. But now sourcing is just fun and it's not as much of a grind. So to summarize, in the year 2023, I think the things I took away the most was that I just figured out what wasn't working in my business as far as efficiencies go and what wasn't profitable. I'm really working on minimalizing everything and keeping things simple. And we basically cut processes in half last year just from the need to do so. And honestly, it's like a weight off of all of our shoulders because things just aren't as complicated as they used to be. And it's just like boom, 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 the item gets listed. I'll talk more about my future goals for 2024 at the end of this video, but just know one of my main focuses is going to continue to be minimalizing, keeping things simple. All right, so let's talk about what probably most of you clicked on this video for, which is the sales recap. Now, as a disclaimer before, do not compare yourself to these numbers because you have no idea what my expenses are. And in this video, I am only going to be sharing my gross sales numbers and then the numbers that are true for everybody, such as platform selling fees and shipping costs. Even shipping costs, I feel like vary depending on where you live. But I will be sharing those numbers with you today. I will not be sharing some of those other numbers because that is just a personal decision that I have made, mainly because, again, comparison is the thief of joy and you need to figure out what works for your business. Okay, so looking at these numbers, on eBay, gross sales, I did 232,000 for a total number of items of almost 6,500 items. After eBay fees and shipping costs to ship all of those items, again, before all of my other expenses, netted about $167,000 from eBay alone. eBay's definitely still my top dog. Then when we go to Poshmark, I did a gross sales of 136,000. I sold about 6,400 items on there. And after fees, I ended up with I'm just gonna call it, I guess, a gross profit maybe, of almost $103,000. So not as great as eBay, but definitely a big hitter in my business. As I mentioned before, I worked on increasing my average sale price, and I've been tracking my average item sale price, meaning not including anything I gained for shipping. I've been tracking that all year. I track it every single year, every single month. Since I've been working on that, my item average sale price for eBay in December ended up being $36. So I was pretty happy with those numbers. I wanted to be between 35 and 40, hopefully closer to 40, but I did make it as far as eBay goes. And then on Poshmark, you guys know that is the platform where stuff just tends to sell for less. People want a deal there, and it tends to be where I move out older items because of closet clear out. My December average sale price on Poshmark ended up being $28 on Poshmark, which might sound like a little bit to you guys, but it is a huge increase since the beginning of the year. And so I am super happy with those numbers, especially Poshmark, because you know, just increasing average sale price and seeing that number go up on Poshmark is incredible. My total gross amount between all the platforms I sold on, I shared the breakdown of eBay and Poshmark with you, but I also sold on Depop and Whatnot. Honestly, Whatnot was just like short spurts for a couple of months. I do plan on doing a little bit more of that in 2024, but you know, in all fairness, I didn't really do a whole lot of Whatnot, except for towards the end of the year. And then Depop, I don't even think I broke over $1,000 for the whole year. So I do list stuff over there from time to time, but definitely not a big hitter. So including both Depop and Whatnot, 172, why can I not say this number? $372,409. There we go. Took me forever. I was butchering that. So, you know, about $370,000 in total as far as just selling things on platforms go, which I feel like is pretty good. This is the first year ever that I haven't doubled my sales from the previous year, and I was pretty sure that was going to happen, just given the fact that I really took a lot of steps back this past year to get everything correct and make sure I was being profitable in a lot of areas with having employees. So it's the first year ever, which is kind of a bummer, but also I feel like it was necessary to really scale back and get things right. So I'm hoping next year I will break $500,000 in sales, and then obviously a huge goal that we've had here for a while is to break $1 million in platform sales in 1 year. So I don't know when that'll happen. If I had to guess, probably like 2 to 3 years from now, but we'll see, because at this point in time, my outlook on everything has changed, and I'm no longer chasing sales numbers. I am chasing time, if that makes sense. Making sure that every move that I make is worth the time I'm putting into it. So we'll see, but it would be cool to break $500,000 in sales this year. And then I also had some income from YouTube, Google AdSense, and along with that comes sponsorship deals, and I have, you know, some referral links. All of those really add up. So my total amount from that, I'm not going to do a breakdown, but I do make a lot from each one. My total gross revenue for every social media revenue source was $68,000, a little bit over $68,000. So that is being paid for views on YouTube. That is sponsorship deals. That is affiliate links. If you guys have ever used those links, thank you guys so much. It really does help to support the channel and make it possible for me to start stepping away and spending more time making videos. YouTube last year was absolutely insane. I don't know. I grew a lot. I'm almost at 30,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm no longer focused on subscriber count. I'm more focused on just trying to make sure that the content I'm putting out is helping. YouTube was a wild ride last year. I grew really quickly on YouTube. I mean, I'm still small fish, so like I'm not growing as fast as some other people, but to me, it feels like very fast growth on YouTube. And the faster I grow, the more people are coming out of the woodwork, and people are just honestly so mean. I used to really live by, you know, some core rules for myself. And one of those is that I really, really believe in freedom of speech. And so if somebody has something negative to say to me, like, it doesn't bother me. I will chat it out with somebody. If someone has a different opinion of mine, that does not bother me. What bothers me is just bullying and harassment of not just myself, but honestly, mostly other people in the comments that I'm so bothered by. And for a while, it started to really affect, I don't know, just my day-to-day and how I was feeling about myself, how I was feeling about the content I was putting out. And I'm still getting a few comments like that. Honestly, it's like for every like 1,000 positive comments I get, it's probably like 1 or 2 bad comments. But those 1 or 2 bad comments really hurt, and it really like feels like I'm taking a blow, because I put so much effort and heart and care into putting out content and information and responding to stuff, that when you feel like you're doing everything you can and then you get a comment like that, it's just like, ugh. It just hurts. So I've been wrestling back and forth with removing comments, just because, like I said, I believe people are entitled to their own opinion. But I think I've made the decision moving forward for this year that if something really affects my mood, my mental health that much, I am just going to remove the comment. Not to say every negative comment will be deleted, because people, like I said, can definitely disagree with me. Hopefully, if you guys are somebody watching and you've ever disagreed with me before, you'll see that, you know, I've talked to you guys in the comments and try to get more information, or try to just chat it out with people. But honestly, I don't think that it is worth it for me anymore to continue, for lack of a better word, arguing with people. And so I think I'm just going to remove the comments and move on, for the sake of my own self, but also for other resellers who are new to reselling that might see these comments that just, quite frankly, some of them are just blatant like misinformation, blatant advice that is going to hinder a newer reseller. And so I think things like that, I'm just going to remove them and move on. So those are some of my number stats. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate in the comments, and I know I'm going to get a lot of people that are supportive, but just once again wanted to say, you know, this is my business. These are my decisions. They don't have to be your decisions, and they shouldn't be your decisions. Do what works for your business and look into your own numbers. So goals for the future for 2024, honestly, right now where I'm at, my biggest focus and the thing I'm putting the most energy into is just helping people. I really wanted to continue making a positive impact in the reseller community. And the whole reason I made this channel in the first place was to offer the help that I didn't see when I started reselling. It took me years to learn all those little nuggets of information that I learned from watching thousands of YouTube videos, and finally had like a couple moments where something clicked. That's the kind of stuff that I want to provide on YouTube, and also in the mentorship group that we just launched on January 1st. So my goal right now is to try to put all of my time and energy into those two things, YouTube and the mentorship group, which, by the way, I'm trying not to beat you guys over the head with promoting the group to you, because I really believe that if you're the right person to be in the group, you're somebody who sees the value in it, you're someone who wants to make positive changes in your business, you're somebody who wants that one-on-one help and to be only around a community of like-minded people who also want to do the same thing. That group is for you, and I believe that you will come to the group. But I'm trying not to beat anybody over the head with it, but I also think it can be super powerful for anybody that wants to grow their business, anywhere from $0 a month to over $10,000 a month. It is for everybody, but you've got to have that right mindset to want to do the work. And we're teaching people how to do it themselves and do what works for your business, and how to find the numbers, how to learn where the tweaks need to be made, and do what works for your specific situation. So all this to say, I try not to talk about the group too much because I know there's some people that just quite frankly don't want to hear about it. But the group is going really well for anybody that wants an update. You know, this is the 3rd week and we are nearing 200 people in the group. We're not quite there yet, but getting close, which I feel like is a fantastic launch amount. Everybody is so super interactive in the group. Every time we do group calls, there's a ton of people on. We've not had like silence or anything like that. And we're able to really like take somebody on those group calls and work through specific situations that they're going through. And it is making such a big impact in people's businesses. Like the heartwarming moments, I've had a lot of those in the group, and just knowing that I'm able to help people on that level is just so amazing, and I really feel like I am where I'm supposed to be. So the group is going really, really well, and it's constantly growing. And so a lot of my focus is going to be on that this year, as well as YouTube. In addition to that, I am still gonna work on my own business, which is all this crap behind me, and really work on making things simpler, more efficient, and just refining processes and making things enjoyable and easy to do. One of my big projects that I'm going to tackle this coming year is that I'm going to reduce the size of my inventory, and that kind of goes along, like right alongside of increasing average sale price, because as you start to increase your average sale price, you have to sell less items, or you have to list less items to get the same amount of sales. And so I feel like my inventory is already shrinking because of that. Still focusing on that high sell-through rate so that the stuff we bring in is also moving quickly. One thing I've never really done, and something that I am doing before this month ends, is creating a seasonality plan for my business. I usually just kind of wait until I realize stuff is selling, which, by the way, people are like, just this week, everybody's buying spring stuff. Like winter stuff is out, spring stuff is in. So I was like, oh crap, I should have been ahead of schedule already. And usually it's those moments where I'm like, oh, we need to flip to the next season. But I'd really like to narrow down with research and like looking at Google Trends and when people actually buy stuff, to really develop a good seasonality plan that I can use every single year, so that I'm not scrambling and waiting for those moments to happen, that I've got boom, boom, boom plans for every single quarter. So that is me rambling for a really long time and telling you guys about what's been going on for the last year, some of my numbers, as well as some of my goals for the future. I feel like this video ended up being a lot longer than I expected it to be, but like I said, I just turn the camera on and then I start talking. Maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe I should have had an outline. That is what's going on in my business. I'd love to continue updating you guys on what it is that we are trying out here, how it's impacting, whether it's working or not. But so far things are working. I'll continue updating you guys on every little change that we're making in the business, in case those are changes that you want to make for yourself as well, and follow along on this journey. Let me know how you guys' 2023 went down below. What was your big focus in 2023, and what is your big focus for 2024? And if any of this resonated with you, really consider joining the Resellers Edge group. I mean, this is all the stuff that we're talking about, but just in a more detailed level, being able to break out into groups or work one-on-one with somebody, again, for your specific business, what you have available to you, what you're capable of, what your time is, really working through those numbers with you and helping you to make the most out of your business. We have people in the group that have never even started reselling, and we have people who are doing 6 figures already in the group and just want to grow it even further. So every level is available. We are here to help you. If you're somebody like me who wants to learn how to figure all of this out for yourself and not just be given information little by little on YouTube, that is going to be the place for you, because that is what we do in the group, is teach you how to get there. If it resonates with you, link is down below for that. I would love to see you guys over there. But that's it for today. That's what's going on. Sorry for the long video. I will see you guys in the next one, and I'll keep you updated as to how all this is going. Bye.